Dave, what made you choose Tony for the team? And then after that, we'll have Tony say what it means to be a part of Elite FTS.
I think Tony applied a few years ago. People don't, a lot of people don't really understand how long we've vet a lot of these guys for, because this brand obviously means a lot to me because it's 21 years old. And, you know, when a lot of the people that could be watching this podcast right now may not have even been born when I was answering their first Q&As. Or if they are competing, you know, in their 20s competing, they were in diapers, you know, when I was training at Westside. So I've always made sure, and it was part of an E-Myth philosophy with the Q&A, because when I first had it, it was me. And then I was afraid to let go. Like, I can't have anybody answer because they're coming for what I have to offer. So I had to make sure anybody that I ever brought on the site was either going to answer the question at the same quality that I would, or better, optimally better than what I would. So that vetting out process started really early. And then over a period of years, it just kind of got refined. And then we've tried different things that didn't work out. Some did, some didn't. You kind of figure out how it goes from there. So I think there's only been maybe 130 total team members that we've had, including columnists that we would consider alumni. And that means that they last a year, fulfilling the requirements that are on the agreement. So we don't want to bring in anybody that's going to, you know, represent the brand poorly, but that's only part of it. The other part of it is they have to know what they're doing. They have to be, not only know what they're doing. I have a scale on how you can rank trainers, you know, based upon experience, education, who they've mentored under, what they've done themselves. Have they made anybody better than themselves? And so I use that, you know, when we're vetting people out as we go through, and it's like, okay, they're hitting all that criteria. Now the other criteria is, can they convey the message? You know, can they convey not the message of the company? Well, that is important, but it's the message of, can they actually help somebody?
Right. Like,
if they go to answer a question, is it going to be so complicated that nobody's going to understand what they're talking about? You know, can they, if answer like a fourth grader, you know, or if they're challenged, you know, and somebody wants them to answer it at a little bit higher level, can answer it at that higher level. So based upon the role that we put people in, you know, if it's an athlete, then we're not going to expect them to be able to answer, you know, or have a in-depth conversation with somebody with an exercise science degree about exercise science, but they certainly can sit down and talk to them about training, and then understand that and be able to go there. But either way, they can still help. So we were watching you for a while. I mean, years. And as I was telling you the other day is, you know, the problem that we had with Tony, and it's kind of a funny thing, we couldn't find anything fucked up, you know. And, you know, I have a statement in powerlifting, we call it OIP, and I got a shirt for it that says OIP, which means only in powerlifting. Because, like, how many things happen and you're just like, God, man, only in powerlifting does shit like this happen, you know? And there's always something. And now, you know, having this podcast and listening through, I see why. You fucking didn't stay in one place very long. You know, you're moving around. It's like, now I get it now. I see this, you know, it makes sense. But there was, everybody that we talked to always had something good to say about you. Whenever we vetted it out, something's going on with the mic, I think. And so that was the plus. Then there was, I think last year we were really close, and then we just decided, you know, we don't want to bring anybody in right now. And it could have been, it might have been the year before that, because it's been a while since we brought anybody on new. I think it was with the merge of the new site. We're like, well, we don't want to do this yet because we got to figure out the flow of the site. Because on the older site, which a lot of people watching this won't even know what I'm talking about, right? You know, on the older site, there was a certain flow that the articles would show what the team member actually knew, and then the training logs would show that they actually walked the walk, and the Q&A would show that they actually cared. So it was a really good fit to be able to showcase what we were looking for, and then to try to replicate that with the site that we have now became complicated because Facebook started. And social media started, and our Q&A kind of was like a social media kind of, not really, but kind of. We never had a forum, we always avoided that shit like the plague. And so then it took us a while to kind of get a grasp on how to get the content out to the people, but at the same time being able to showcase the people that are on the team as being professionals at what they do. I'm always afraid to use the word expert because it's thrown around way too. Actually, the word expert almost makes you sound like an idiot anymore. Being professional at what you do, is what it is. So that's what it was. And with the funny thing with this is, you were on the short list, and it was pretty much a done deal, right? And I wanted to wait and not announce anybody until Ann. Because Ann had a really cool story.
Amazing story,
And I knew she was coming to the seminar. And I'm like, we're going to do this, and this is going to be the launch. Then we'll start pulling in the other people. And then a couple of days beforehand, I see your name on the roster. I'm like, shit, how am I going to do this? I said, we can do this at the seminar. We should do this at the seminar, but how can I do this? I can't do it like after Ann's story because that's so anticlimactic. If I do it before, then it just kind of worked out because I knew at the restaurant we were going to do it regardless, one way or another. And then I asked Joe, I'm like, man, do you know Tony? He's like, yeah, I know who Tony is. I'm like, here, you can do this. And I thought he was going to tell a little bit better story, but he didn't. And
Joe's Joe.
Yeah, you did. So, and it was really cool. I like when we bring people on, so especially really good people like yourself. So it was a good moment. So that's why. Now, I mean, that's. Keep in mind, look through everything that we talked about, guys. Look at the education, look at the path, look at the journey, look at the people that he's learned from, look at the caliber of lifter he is. And we didn't even get into bodybuilding and the dieting and that whole aspect
and
as
what
well.
People say about him.
Yeah. And then, so your turn, I suppose.
Yeah, so what does that mean to you?
Oh, man. It's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of hard to put into words, which is, something that I'm not too graceful with to begin with. But, I like Elite FTS to me was something that started my process into my passion. If it wasn't for Elite FTS, if it wasn't for Joe DeFranco, I don't know if I would be doing what I'm doing now. So to think about a company gave me the ability to find my passion and to give me something to pursue bigger than myself for the rest of my life. Like, now that I'm a part of it, it's so exponentially more than I can ever put into words of what it means to me, because it's given me my life that I have now. So I don't know how to put that into words, but all I can say is that if it wasn't for Elite FTS, it probably wouldn't be a Tony Montgomery powerlifter, strength coach, or anything else. It would have been a completely different trajectory. So the gratitude and the honor that I have for being on the team is something that means the world to me, and it's something that I hope to repay as much as I can, and hopefully be able to guide people along that same path and same journey that you guys provided for me with the free content that you did, and all the articles and all the great athletes that you brought on, and the inspiration to find a passion and pursue it with everything you have is something that I've always found to be extremely important, and I learned that from you guys and what you preach. So that's kind of, I guess, the best way I can put it into words, but that's what it means to me. It's given me my life that I have now. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.